Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your preview for Spurs versus Manchester United in the Premier League, and it's going to be a big game in relation to the top four race. Obviously, we know Manchester United are going into this game on the back of a positive win on the weekend in the FA Cup semi-final, and Spurs, on the other hand, not so much. Very disappointing result for them against Newcastle. 6-1 they lost. So we're going to get into the preview. Let's get right into it. So as we know, Manchester United go into this game on the back of a positive win on penalties against Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final on the weekend. But one of the, I suppose, downsides to the victory on the weekend was that of Bruno Fernandes getting injured. Now, as we know, Bruno Fernandes is pivotal to Manchester United and the way Erik ten Hag specifically wants to play this season. We seen against Sevilla a few days before the Brighton game how poor Manchester United were in midfield, how much they lacked energy. And I know a lot of the, I suppose, criticisms of Bruno Fernandes, aside from his petulance, which I think is getting better by the way, is been the fact that he's not been chipping in with as many goals. But what he does give, I suppose, on the other end of that is work rate. And his work rate this season for Manchester United in the middle of the park has been absolutely phenomenal, I have to say. He covers so much ground. He leads by example on the pitch in terms of his work rate. His goal involvements are quite good as well, in fairness. He seems to be involved in some shape or form with the majority of Manchester United's goals this season, which is really good. And it does look like he's going to be missing for Thursday night. Obviously, we haven't got confirmation of that yet. We did see during the week his wife posted on her Instagram page of him sitting on the couch. He's got a strap around his ankle. He's also got crutches beside him. And he's also got a big, massive boot beside him as well. So it doesn't look good for Bruno Fernandes for Thursday night. Hopefully it's precautionary. Obviously we'll know more closer to the game. We have a big game coming up on Sunday as well against Aston Villa. Again, you know, Aston Villa are not out of, I suppose, the running for top four either. So, you know, are United maybe going to rest Bruno Fernandes, even if he is, or wanting to play on Thursday? I'm not sure. We'll find out closer to time. What I do know is we are going to miss his work rate, his energy in the midfield. As good as Christian Eriksen is since he's come back, he's put in a couple of good performances. His work rate, his pace, his defence, the defensive side of his game is just not as good as Bruno Fernandes. So it is one area that we're going to be lacking, for lack of a better term. Now, as we know, the run-in for the remainder of the season is going to be very important for Manchester United. Okay, we know in 5 weeks' time we've got an FA Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley. However, top four still is, you know, up for grabs. And I think one of the most important things that's going to be, I suppose, a factor in Manchester United's performance is our defence. Now, we do know that, of course, Martinez is missing the remainder of the season, and Erik ten Hag has stated that he's hoping Varane will be back for the FA Cup final, if not sooner. So, I suppose on the weekend it was good to see Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw striking up such a good partnership together. They played very well. I gave Luke Shaw man of the match in my match reaction. It could have easily been Victor Lindelof. He did deserve it as well. He scored the winning penalty, the Iceman, of course. And it's great to see him getting such praise, because he deserves it. I think he's got a lot of unfair criticism because he's been grouped with Harry Maguire, and again, I'm not trying to go in on Harry Maguire or anything here, I'm really not, but I think Victor Lindelof has come out looking a little bit worse of a player than he actually is, just because he's playing with Harry Maguire so often. We've seen it very similar with Scott McTominay and Fred when they played together in central midfield, and I was always one that said Fred was the better player, and I thought he gets a raw deal, you know, having to play beside Scott McTominay, and I think that's been quite evident this season. Ten Hag has probably spotted that quite early on. Scott McTominay hasn't got game time as much as he has throughout his whole career this season, and Fred has been a more of a go-to player for Ten Hag in the middle of the park, albeit a lot of the time as a squad player coming in as a substitute, but I think it's similar between him and McTominay than it is with Lindelof. So I think our back four, although it's only been one game in the FA Cup semi-final that they've played together, they did look quite good together. Wan-Bissaka was unbelievable at right back. I thought Dalot had a great game at left back, and of course the two guys centre backs together striked up a very good partnership, nice and quick. I think that's our best back four. I really do, between now and the end of the season. Of course, if Varane comes back and he's fully fit, you would say, okay, he goes back in, but he will need game time. Is he going to get it before an FA Cup final? I'm not too sure. So I'm hoping that back four is going to remain for the remainder of the season. Now, let's talk about the opposition and Spurs. And of course, we all know Spurs had a horrendous result on the weekend against Newcastle. Ripped them to shreds. 6-1. So they're going to be seriously lacking confidence coming into this game. However, it seems like Manchester United tend to play a team that gets a new manager bounce. Now, I know it's technically not really a new manager bounce. Ryan Mason is coming in. He was the assistant to the assistant who got sacked during the week. So he's going to be the manager to take charge of Spurs. He's already had a stint as Spurs manager, in previous seasons. I think it was when Mourinho was sacked. So, look, I think Spurs are a kind of a team that can show up one game and might not show up for 2 or 3 games. They're still technically in a top 4 race. They can still technically get there. Of course they can. But what kind of team of Spurs are going to show up on the weekend? Obviously, we know the dangers of Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, these types of players. But you would hope with Manchester United, if we can put some kind of display on in terms of attacking wise, getting forward, creating chances, I don't think Spurs should be able to live with us, given, one, the quality that they have in defence, and two, the kind of mentality and the confidence that they're going to show going into this game. But I do think that Manchester United are still going to have to be on their toes. We can't take anything for granted from a Spurs team that, if you allow them, will punish you. And I think we have to do similar to what Newcastle done. Early goals, put them away early, keep them on the back foot. Don't allow them to dictate the game. And I think we should come away with a positive result. I really do. Now, let's get into our predicted 11 for the Spurs game on the weekend. And look, I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward starting 11. I don't think it's going to be a very difficult one to, I suppose, predict. There is one or two little areas that potentially there may be a change, one in particular, but I'm going to give you what I think is going to be the starting 11, and obviously, let me know what you think your starting 11 is going to be in the comment section below. But obviously the back 5, I think is pretty much straightforward after the weekend's results. David De Gea starts in goal. We have Wan-Bissaka at right back, Dalot at left back, and then Luke Shaw and Lindelof to keep their partnership together. Now look, Harry Maguire does return from suspension, so there could be a reason why he plays. I personally can't see why he would play. I really can't, given how well the players played on the weekend. And Ten Hag tends to reward good performances with a prolonged spell in the team. If you're playing well, you play. So I don't see any reason why the back 4 should change, between Sunday and, Thursday's game, obviously. So I'm going to go with that back 4. I think it's pretty straightforward. Now, when we're talking about midfield, again, obviously, we are expecting Bruno to miss the game. We really are. Now, something may change between now and, Thursday, but obviously I'm recording this on Tuesday night, so I don't see any reason why Bruno would be declared fit between now and then. So I'm going to go with Casemiro, Eriksen and Sabitzer in midfield. Obviously, Casemiro is back a couple of games now, and his performance levels are starting to improve. I don't think he's been as good since he's come back from his suspension as he was before. And I've said it a couple of times now, but again, you do not leave Casemiro out of a team if he's fit. Absolutely not. Of course, Eriksen, you can still see with Eriksen, he's still trying to fight his way back to full fitness. I don't think he's back to the levels he was before his injury. Of course, he's only been back for 2 or 3 games as well. But look, again, he's a type of player that when you're looking to create, you're looking to score goals, and especially if Bruno Fernandes is not in the team, I think it's vital that Eriksen is there, and I think he is going to have a very important role to play on Thursday night, and he's playing against his old club as well. And of course, Sabitzer, I thought he played well when he came on the weekend. He's had some very good performances for United, since his loan spell. It looks like well, it's certain that he wants to stay. I think it would be a very shrewd signing if we can get him on the cheap, make the deal permanent in the summer. But look, I think he's been playing really well, and I would play him ahead of Fred. I really would. And I thought Fred done really well when he came on the other night as well. He brought a lot of energy and he changed the game. He helped us press the ball higher up for Brighton, against Brighton and things like that, and brought a lot of energy to midfield. But I think Sabitzer is the man for it, and I think he slots into that midfield tree a lot better. So I'm going to go with this as my midfield tree. Now, when it comes then to the forward line, and again, look, this is an area that I think two are absolute certs, but there could be one that potentially might be different. This is the forward line I'm going to go with that I think will start. Anthony on the right, Rashford on the left, and Martial through the middle. Again, I think Anthony's been playing really well the last few games. I thought he was unlucky to be substituted on the weekend against Brighton, and I think he's fallen into that kind of area of being the first one substituted an awful lot, even when he's playing well. And I think maybe the reason for that is he's got a good relationship with Ten Hag. He's played with him before. So I think, not that it's the easy option, but I think Ten Hag realised that, look, he understands more maybe than other players. But I certainly do think Anthony should be starting on that right wing. He's made that position his own now over the last couple of weeks and couple of months even. And of course, Rashford being back then, back from injury, I have to say he still didn't look back to full fitness on Sunday. He kind of came in and out of the game a little bit. But again, I mean, going to extra time and all of that kind of stuff will do him no harm in terms of getting back to his full fitness as well. Now, look, Martial is the big talking point here, in my opinion. I thought he was very poor on the weekend. He was one of our worst players on the pitch. I don't like using the word worst player, but he was one of the players that didn't really perform on Sunday. And we know this out of Martial. We know he can be good one week and terrible the next week and unbelievable the week after. And I think this is potentially an area that could change. Jadon Sancho, who also I don't think gave us an awful lot on the weekend either when he played, he could potentially come in on that left-hand side and we could see Rashford through the middle. So that's maybe the one area that I would see maybe a change coming in. But I think maybe Ten Hag, in relation to what he said previously about Martial, that he wants him to start building relationships with the likes of Rashford and other forward players in the run-in for the season. I think maybe that's the reason why I think he's going to go for that forward line with Martial at the head of it. But let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section below. Let me know your predicted 11 in the comment section below. But I certainly do think this team is more than capable of going out and beating Spurs on Thursday night. Now, if we're going with a score prediction for Thursday's game, like I said previously, that starting 11 that I went with, I think is more than capable of getting a very good result. I think we are overdue to give somebody a good hiding, and I think this is a great opportunity to do that. I don't know whether we will, but I have a feeling that Manchester United are going to blow a team away eventually. I really do. I think it could be Spurs this Thursday, on the back of a very difficult weekend for them, obviously against Newcastle. They are so low on confidence at the moment. Now, maybe the new manager boost, new manager bounce might, play a role. But regardless of that, I think we should have too much for Spurs. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to Manchester United. I think our performances in defence on Sunday were very encouraging. I think we certainly can keep a clean sheet. We know the dangers of Harry Maguire. Sorry, not Harry Maguire. We know the dangers of Harry Kane. I think if we can keep him quiet, I think we can get a clean sheet. And of course, we're getting Marcus Rashford back to full fitness. Anthony is playing well. I think Sabitzer likes to try and get in and get on the end of a goal. I'm going with a 3-0 win to Manchester United. I think we're going to have a good positive result. I really do. And officially put Spurs out of the running for top 4. But let me know your score predictions in the comment section below as well, guys. And let me know what you think about the starting 11. Let me know what way you think the game is going to go. Like I said, we are going to be live for the watch along on Thursday night as well. So make sure you're tuned in for that. Please smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Daily Manchester United content, and of course all of the watch alongs throughout the season. But until Thursday night, take it easy.